The best movie soundtracks are the ones you barely notice, but when they're gone, you realize how much they were doing for the movie. Look at this example of the iconic scene from Jaws. Here's it with the soundtrack. Now let's look at it without the soundtrack. This scene just feels way less scary and ominous. Like it's just a shark swimming in water. Yes, it's still kind of scary because you know it's happening, but like it doesn't give you that eternal like gut-wrenching, I'm scared feeling, oh my goodness, watch out, watch out, watch out. I'm gonna talk about why soundtracks are so important for movies, and then I'm gonna take 7 different movies and divide them into 3 different categories and kind of give an example of this movie could probably work without the music. Movies that fit into the category of something feels off, maybe almost awkward without the music, but I guess still watchable. And then 3 movies that completely depend on their soundtracks to make the movies. Something that soundtracks can do that maybe dialogue always can't is show emotion. Not always can the character deliver that emotion, but you put some music behind it and all of a sudden there's a whole nother layer of depth to the movie. The last reason that soundtracks are so important for movies is that they communicate things that the characters can't. They can also communicate things that the characters aren't supposed to know. For example, if you ever watch the Scream movies, when the characters walk into the empty house or they're like crawling around and looking around like about to turn a corner, the music usually gets really eerie and uncomfortable, and as a person watching the movie, you know that there's something around that corner that's about to kill them or jump scare or something, but the character doesn't. So the character can't like mid-scene look at the 4th wall and be like, by the way, I'm not supposed to know this, but there's gonna be something that's gonna kill me around this wall. So directors and gore writers will work together to say, hey, in this scene, I don't want the characters to know what's happening, but I need the audience to start like being on the edge of the seats and start feeling that anxiousness of walking through a dark, scary house. I would never walk through a dark, scary house. Soundtracks just bring you so much deeper into the story and deeper into the layers of what's happening, more than what could ever be communicated by the characters or by the environment of what's happening in the movie. You have to have music. As I was thinking about soundtracks and movies that, you know, have some of the greatest soundtracks, I also started thinking, I wonder if there were any movies that could be watchable without soundtracks. The first category is the works without music. These movies usually have a lot of character dialogue that may just have background music or not even like a soundtrack heavy movie. So you could probably watch them. And the first one is Barbie. If you've never seen the Barbie movie, you should go watch it. So in the Barbie movie, there is a lot of talking. There's some dance scenes and some singing, and some of the songs do narrate the story a little bit, but I think that even without the music, you would still understand the premise of what's happening. Like, for example, throughout the whole movie, Barbie is talking about finding her emotions, and so she's communicating that the whole time. You know, she starts having fears of death and wants to know what's like in the outside world. She communicates how Ken made her feel, and this happened, and you can just visually see it on her face. Even at the very end, where the creator of Barbie and Barbie have a conversation, and Barbie's like, I want to be a real person, I want to learn how to feel things. And so this montage of like women and moms and all these things plays in front of Barbie with one of the most depressing songs Billie Eilish ever wrote, called What Was I Made For? Tears. I literally bawled at the end of that movie. But it just kind of shows through like all these things, that what it's like to be a girl and be a woman, and all of the feelings and the joys that we get with that, and all the memories of girlhood. And so that song does really put you into your feels, but even if there wasn't music, the montage itself would just like make sense and you would still feel those emotions. So Barbie's probably my biggest one. Knives Out is a detective movie. So again, a lot of the movie is talking dialect, trying to figure out who murdered who, trying to look at the clues and solve the mystery. So the only, I guess, important music would be like when the killing happens, just to kind of feel that intensity. But again, it's mostly dialect. Throughout the whole movie, it's just characters having conversations with each other, and so there's not really a need for music. Our next category is the missing something category. So you can watch these movies and still understand the premise, but like I said, something feels missing. Like the scene almost doesn't make sense and feels kind of boring. Like the example I used earlier with Jaws completely fits perfect. Jaws, you understand the premise of the movie, shark, man-eating shark, kills a bunch of people. All the scenes and the storyline pretty much makes sense, but without that you don't feel anxiety that comes with a man-eating shark chasing after you. You just see a little fin in the water. it feels like it's just one step away from actually being a good movie without the music. An example of a movie that would just feel a little bit strange without the music is Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park, if you haven't seen it, come on, this is like a classic, is essentially where the scientists decide, you know what, we want to bring. As you can imagine, it goes horribly wrong and dinosaurs break out and try to kill everyone and they have to kill the dinosaurs. So you think. There's like 7 of them, but we're going to talk about like the original classic one because low-key that's the only one I've seen. The first off is the opening thing. The doors open to, like, you're driving in a car and they open and you see all the dinosaurs and it's just like, wow. It just kind of makes you kind of like in awe or a little bit inspired by dinosaurs, which is a little bit weird. Without the music, it would, again, like still make sense, but it would just be like, I imagine like creaky wood, like and then just weird crunching noise, not actually like this, like, wow, just be like, oh, cool, you know? There'll also just be some like high intensity stuff that, again, you're still scared because it's a literal dinosaur, but without music, it's just missing something. Like, it feels like it is one step away from being a really good movie, and then it's just not. Another great example is the Harry Potter. It makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of dialect, so you understand what's happening in the story. They're talking, but these high intensity, like, spell casting scenes, or even the scenes at night when he's like tiptoeing around and trying to sneak around, would just be kind of like eerie quiet. Basically, you can understand the story, but you don't feel like you're a part of the story. Like it does when there's an actual soundtrack and there's all of these like really cool songs going on and themes. Like, for example, I played the Quidditch theme. It was a brass only thing, and I have never felt cooler. And I felt like I was in my own Quidditch match. The next movies are basically unwatchable without soundtracks. Like, the movie literally depends on the soundtrack. The first one is Interstellar. If you've never seen Interstellar, I don't really know how to explain it to you, besides if the Earth is ending, they send astronauts to space to try to figure out like space and time and see if there's another viable planet, and it's just this really long, amazing adventure where he talks about black holes and space and how we think it works, how it could actually work, and all of these intricate ideas. And there are so many scenes where it is just silent. It's space. Space has no noise. The audio has nothing to bounce off of. So it just kind of floats. You can't really hear anything. So there's so many scenes where, you know, they're running on a planet, trying to get back into their ship, or they're driving in a cornfield, trying to hurry to get on to save the world, or, you know, he's sad because he can't talk to his daughter. He hasn't talked to his daughter in a couple of years. The music really puts you into the same feelings that he feels because he's not talking or communicating. The scene is happening in front of you and you need something to like help put you in the scene with it, like, and help you understand the story. The best example I have is the docking scene where the spaceship is literally docking onto the other spaceship. Sorry, I'm not an engineer anymore. And again, it's space, it's silent. So they have this nice audio in the background. You kind of understand what's going on, but then all of a sudden you hear this like intense music and it's getting faster and you can feel the anxiety building. Oh, it's just so good. I highly recommend watching that movie, but without that music, a lot of the movie would feel wrong and you wouldn't quite understand what was going on. Another one is Star Wars. Star Wars, it would just be 2 guys playing with sticks the whole time. And yes, there is quite a bit of dialect, but there was almost more non-dialect scenes where, you know, they're using the Force. There's got to be a certain sound, so every time they do this with their hand, you understand, oh, they're using the Force, not just, and like, it just, their music is part of the story. You know, their action is dependent on how the music sounds, how fast is the music going, those kinds of things. Some movies, they depend on the soundtrack, and some probably would be okay without, but the thing that remains between all of them is that they all still have them, because directors understand how important they are, and hopefully you understand now too. Thanks so much for watching. Please comment down below your favorite movie soundtrack, and we'll see you guys next time.